Hello learners. In this video we are going to study the phrase and the clause. What is a phrase? A phrase is a group of words with some meaning but not complete meaning or sense. So you can see that and you can compare the difference with sentence which have a complete meaning, complete sense. It makes complete sense. But in phrase, it has meaning but not complete meaning. So that's the difference between a phrase and the sentence. For example, don't blame me on your failure. So this complete is a whole sentence. And on your failure, this part is a phrase. It has some meaning. On your failure. What is on your failure? So it is talking about some failure, but we don't know about whose failure and what failure. So it doesn't give a complete sense. So this is a phrase. Second example. Finally, I met her in a distant place. Again, this whole complete, it's a sentence, it makes complete sense, but the highlighted part, that is in a distant place, it is talking about a distant place but not more than that it is making any sense. So it doesn't make any complete sense, so it is a phrase. So remember this fact. When something when a group of words is they are making some sense but not complete sense, you get this idea that it is incomplete. So that is phrase. Okay, we have some important note because this note is very important because it helps us to differentiate between a phrase and a clause. And don't worry, we will cover clause in the next slides. So what is let's read this note. It doesn't have a verb in it, unlike a clause, which we will learn in the next slides. So note in these both of these sentences, there is no verb in the highlighted part. On your failure. On is a preposition, your is pronoun, and failure it's a noun. Okay, again, in a distant place. N preposition, a, and it's an article, distant. It also noun or adjective. So the fact that we have to remember is that a phrase doesn't contain a verb in it. So now you can find that a group of word, whether it's a phrase or a clause. So we will learn about clause in the next part. The clause. A clause is a group of words that contains a subject and a verb. It is like a small sentence within a larger sentence. Clauses can be used to add more information to a sentence or to join ideas together. So now we have to note that the basic or the main characteristic of a clause is that it contains a subject and a verb, or we can say that subject and predicate. We learned subject and predicate in the previous video, so you can check it out. And after you have understood what is a subject and what is a verb, you can come to this video. So what here we are reading that a clause is a group of words that contains a subject and a verb. So it is also a group of words just like the phrase, but it has a subject and a verb. So note the difference between clause and the phrase. Phrase doesn't have any subject or verb, but in clause it has a subject and a verb. It's like a small sentence with a larger sentence. And when we are talking about a broader idea, and we must use clause to add more information to a sentence. You have noted the use of clause in fields related to law. You can see in an act that clause is widely used to add more information to an act. Okay, there are two main types of clauses: independent clauses and dependent clauses. Independent clauses can stand alone as a complete sentence, while dependent clauses cannot. So the definition lies in the word itself. Independent means it is not dependent on others. It can stand alone. It can work on its own. So there is no confusion in it. Independent, one which is not dependent upon others. It can stand alone. So those clauses which can stand alone as a complete sentence, they are independent sentence. And those which cannot stand on their own, they are dependent clause. So according to yourdictionary.com, clauses are the units of grammar that contains at least one predicate, that is verb, and a subject. So I think now things are clear about clause. What is a clause? So it tells more meaning than a phrase does. So I hope you have understood. So let's go forward. Types of clauses. First, independent clause. I've just explained the definition, but we will go a bit deeper now. An independent clause is a group of words that contains a subject and a predicate. It can stand alone as a complete sentence. Okay, we have learned that. We will cover the example. I enjoy going for a walk in the park. This is an independent clause because it contains a subject, I, and a predicate, enjoy going for a walk in the park. So this whole from enjoy to park, this is a predicate. And it can stand alone as a complete sentence. So there is no loophole in the meaning of this sentence. Okay, we can understand what is being talked in the sentence. Okay, there is nothing left in the sentence. So it's a dependent clause. Next, dependent clause. A dependent clause is a group of words that contains a subject and a predicate but cannot stand alone as a complete sentence. Okay, it is similar to independent clause in the fact that it also contains a subject and predicate, but the difference lies in the fact that it cannot stand alone as a complete sentence. Dependent clause usually begin with words like although, because, or, when, and depend on an independent clause to make sense. Okay, it is always dependent upon independent clause. I'm talking about dependent clause. It cannot stand alone on its own, so it takes the help of independent clause to make sense. Okay, we will understand further or more clearly with the help of examples. Because I woke up late this morning. This is a sentence. It is talking about a person who woke up late in the morning, but nothing more than that. There's some meaning. Yes, there's some meaning. He woke up late this morning, but nothing more than that. So we feel that something it is incomplete. This is a dependent clause because it contains a subject. Subject is I, and predicate woke up late this morning. This is predicate, but it cannot stand alone as a complete sentence. Okay, we read this sentence and we find that something is missing. It needs an independent clause to make sense. So it requires independent clause to help it to make a complete sense. So if we add an independent clause, it becomes, okay, we will add an independent clause to this to make it a complete sentence. Because I woke up late this morning, I missed my train. Now it's a complete sentence. We have this idea. Yes, we know something. We get a complete idea. But before, because I woke up late this morning, it doesn't give us a whole idea. But now, because I woke up late this morning, I missed my train. So now we find that what is being impacted by his waking up late in the morning. So because of his waking up late, he missed his train. So now it's a complete sentence. Thank you. I hope you have understood something from this video.